Right, hi.
Hi, so we're going to make a start. Thank you everyone for joining us and welcome to the COLPAI Construction online webinar. This webinar is being held in place of our usual meetings in the community centre while government restrictions are in place. Members of the project are on hand today to answer any questions you have about the progress of the project and queries you have about works taking place on site. My name is Catherine, I'm from ComCom and will be hosting tonight's session. Shortly, I will ask all members of the panel to introduce themselves, and following that, Steve will be giving a presentation of the works that have been taking place on site, as well as upcoming works which are scheduled. We are keen to allow as much time as possible for Q&A from the audience. At the bottom of the screen, you should see a little Q&A button. Throughout the session, please do submit your questions and we will pick them up towards the end of the meeting. There is also chat buttons and you can raise your hand as well. If you would like to come up onto the panel at any point this evening to ask your question directly to a member of the team, please just note this in your question or use the raise hand button. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be available on our project website following the call. I will now pass on to the panel for introductions and I'll start with Nuon.
Me?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, I'm Noyan Chowdhury. I'm from the City of London Corporation and I work in the City Surveyors Department.
Thank you. Michael?
Good evening, everybody. Michael Gwyther-Jones, Head of New Developments and Special Projects for Housing Services.
Thanks, Michael. Dawn?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dawn Harris. I am the Communications Manager for Major Projects.
Thank you. Paul?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Murta. I'm Assistant Director for Housing.
Thanks, Paul. Steve?
Good evening, everyone. Steve McCarthy from ISG. I'm the Project Manager down on site.
Thanks, Steve. And finally, Nadine.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nadine James. I'm from Montague Evans and I'm the planning consultant for the project.
Thank you all. So I'm now going to share the presentation which was circulated earlier this week to those on our database, and I will pass over to Steve to give us an update on the works on site. So I'm just sharing my screen. Can everyone see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can see that, Catherine.
Perfect. Over to you, Steve.
Okay, everyone. I'm going to briefly run where we are on site and give you an idea of what we'll be doing over the next month. So hopefully you can all see my first slide, which is a view of the residential tower. We've actually cast the ground floor slab now, and we are constructing the vertical structure from from the ground floor to the first floor. What you can actually see there is our shuttering, which forms the core, the stair core, and the lift core of the tower. I would expect now we're out of the ground, to be able to turn around a floor in roughly, I would hope, 2.5 to 3 weeks. If I could have my next slide. Can I have my next slide, please? Right, I'm going to go on to the educational buildings now. Basically, most of the work we've done and the most advanced section of our works is the main school building and the school sports hall. I've got 2 slides up on the screen now. The one on my left is of the corner of the sports hall, and the one on the right is from the entrance to the school on Baltic Street West, looking to one side, looking into the nursery area. What this slide shows is that we have started brickwork. The brickwork's quite advanced, and we're approaching the first floor sort of level with the brickwork. If I could have my next slide, please. Again, inside, what we've been able to do, and which I think is common practice now, we've been able to waterproof the building using temporary measures, and we're advancing with the internal petitions and some of the services within the school building. I think I took this photo, if I remember, on the second floor, and it's looking down one of the corridors. If I could have my next slide. Again, this is looking down the corridors. Again, I took this slide to give an idea of the floor finishes. So again, we're quite advanced, and we've laid screed. You could probably see the screed is in the process of drying out, so it's only just been laid. If I could have my next slide. Again, this is services. So again, we're quite well advanced, and you can see the services within the school building. I would say at this point, what I've shown you within the school building, really this is what we'll be doing for the next month, 2 months, 3 months. A lot of it will be building on the progress we've made, putting in more services, and starting the finishes, closing up petitions. Again, the 2 slides show our mechanical electrical installation. For those of you who don't know, MEP, mechanical electrical plumbing installation. My next slide, please. I put this one in. It's a bit of a boring slide, really, but I think the point I wanted to make is we've got the lift shaft formed in the school, and it's ready to accept the lift that's been supplied to us by CONI, a well-known manufacturer. I'm hoping to start the lifts around the end of October, and they'll take about 6 weeks, I'm hoping, to install. Got my next slide. Again, this is the 2 slides on the left-hand side, on my left-hand side, shows the roof finishes on the school. So the middle slide is looking at the roof membrane going down at school playground level. So it's what we would call the 3rd floor, level 3. And that area is at Baltic Street, west side of the building. On the left-hand side slide, that shows the playground area, and that's primer, you can see, gone down. And also you can see we've started the brickwork on the roof. We had to start the brickwork on the roof because the roof finishes dress up onto the brickwork. On the right-hand side, that's a picture or a photograph showing the top of the school hall, and that roof membrane work is in progress. That is actually finished now. I think that photo was probably taken about a week ago. My next slide. Have you got my next slide, Catherine?
Yeah, I think there might just be a little bit of delay, Steve.
Right.
Turn it to the next one. Can you see that now?
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Right, what we're doing through the centre of the site is we're putting in all the external services. So for those of you who overlook us, you can probably see this trench, and basically what that is for is we're putting in gas main, comms, electrical services, district heating, water, generally all the services that you'd normally expect to have in the building. So they're the services that will be feeding the building, and they're picked up from Golden Lane. So generally progress is going well. What you've seen really, and what I've spoken about this evening is what we're going to be concentrating on over the next couple of months really. I think this is my last slide, so if anybody's got any questions, I'll be pleased to answer them at the right time. Oh, I can't forget this one. It's the monitoring results. We continue to monitor noise, vibration, and dust at 2 stations that we've got now. One behind our offices on Basterfield Service Road, and one at the back of the site by Hatfield House. And this is a sample of one of the graphs that we sent over. Again, we continue to publish the results on a monthly basis that I believe is attached to one of the newsletters.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's it, isn't it, Catherine?
Yeah, that's it. Just to note, the monitoring results go up on our website for the previous month, so you can view them all there if anybody's interested in taking a look. That's the end of your presentation, Steve. So we'll move on to Q&As now. So thank you so much. Please do use the function below to ask your questions. I'll take them in turn. So the first one is, taking into account COVID spacing requirements, we do not know what will happen in the future. Are there any plans to increase spacing in the common areas of the new development, school corridors, etc.? Steve, would you be best to answer that one?
Sorry, are we talking about COVID?
Yeah, so in regard to COVID and spacing requirements, are there any plans to increase spacing in the common areas of the new development, such as the school corridors?
We've got additional welfare in place, which allows us to keep socially distanced, and it also gives us enough space to be able to have the guys to eat their meals, canteen facilities, and change safely.
Steve, it's
at the moment.
Hi, Steve. It's John here. Does the question relate to the permanent design of the building? Because if the question relates to the permanent design, then the design of the school isn't being altered to suit whatever social distancing might be in the future. The design is fixed.
Yeah, I think it's in regard to the actual new development and school corridors. Thanks, John.
Oh, sorry. I was going down the wrong path there, Catherine. I thought we were talking about our site setup.
No problem. Steve, would it be worth picking up now about how you're set up on site in regard to COVID? Just expanding on what you've already outlined.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new really. We've basically put in enough facilities to allow our operatives to carry out their works in a safe manner. So, as I began to say, we've got facilities that enable them to change and maintain the social distancing, and also eat their food. So all is good.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question has come in is, have you finished digging the service trench by the Silver Birch Tree alongside the route to Baltic Street?
The answer is yes. We're doing no more excavation there. I'm hoping to backfill that on Tuesday, starting from Tuesday. The whole process will probably take a little over a week, but then it'll be completely reinstated. But I can assure everyone we have not damaged or cut through any routes at all.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. The next question is in regards to the timetable for the works. So it asks, is a timetable for works being updated on the COLPAI website? I wondered, Neil, whether you could give an update on where we are in the programme and what the next steps look like.
So in terms of the timetable, we have just received the latest programme from ISG as of last night. So we're still assessing that. And I will have to come back with some more information on the timetable, as we just received it as of this afternoon. So we'll have to assess that and we'll share it on the COLPAI website.
Okie dokie. Thanks, Noan. Next question for Steve is, why have you changed the layout of the walkway alongside the operative's entrance to the site?
I'm not sure that I have. In what way? We're still coming in the same way. Oh, are you talking about the pedestrian walkway, the pit lane, or are you talking about the route into site? I haven't changed the route into site. We're still going in underneath the residential block, and I haven't changed the arrangements with the pit lane. So maybe the caller could be a bit more specific, and I'll try and answer if I haven't answered.
No problem. I've just brought them up onto the panel, so hopefully they can expand on their question and get some answers on that.
Hello, Steve. It's me. I'm the one
Hi.
who wheels my little boy on a wheelchair.
I recognise your voice.
Yeah, I'm also the one who asks you why they have to shout so much on site. But anyway, so the point being that we used to be able to lower the wheelchair by the fashion school, go along the road smoothly to the, well, when I say smoothly, it's not that smooth, to the where the Westfield Road service road is, and then up smoothly onto the pavement again. But what you seem to have done with your red and white barriers is to close that route off, so you're directing your site operatives into the turnstiles, and so we regularly have to walk onto the road, and it's quite concerning for us.
The only thing I can think of is probably that is closed off when we have deliveries, or when we're expecting deliveries.
No, it's not,
and
Steve.
just recently,
it's every day, Steve. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's every day. Right? It's permanent. I mean, every time I take my son to and from school, that's how it is. So, and it has been for the past week.
At the moment, we've got a high volume of deliveries coming into sites, and it is on. It's obviously on a daily basis. So probably at the time that you're walking past the site, we're either expecting or have got a delivery in a pit lane.
Well, it's not safe. It's not safe to direct people, whether in a wheelchair or not, onto the road. I'm not clear if that is part of your construction management plan to do that.
Yes, it is. It's actually on one of my logistics plans, which forms part of the construction management plan, and that's been agreed with the London Borough of Islington.
Do you have a sorry, this is Anna's team, Anna's partner, husband. Do you have a banksman to guide people while deliveries are being made?
There's 3 banksmen that are continually on duty, traffic marshals that are continually on duty throughout our working day.
Yeah, but do they guide pedestrians?
No, they don't. And I asked this question to Mark Lohman, and he said the banksmen were there to deal with the vehicles and not with pedestrians. It's a real safety issue, especially now with the coaches that come and deliver to COLPAI, every day. So there's, I don't know how many, it's 4 or 5 coaches that are coming up and down that road at the time when schools are starting and finishing. So it's just an added hazard for us. And I can't understand why you can't keep a clear pedestrian walkway or have banks directing people.
We could look at the possibility of having additional banksmen on site. We could take that away. But with regards to the pit lane and the pathway, we have to close that to take deliveries.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Steve. But the other day, I went to walk around the barrier, and one of your banksmen said something like, "Oi, lady, watch out," which wasn't really helpful for me. He could have just stopped the traffic, let us walk through, and then we could have calmly got on our way. But it wasn't a safety. It wasn't safe. Let's say.
I mean, my comment there is I wouldn't like to think that one of them would be saying, "Oi, lady."
Well,
I don't think that's really very
okay.
polite.
All
But
right. No,
I'd be interested to know which one that was.
And I don't want to name names, but it's not that they don't seem to have pedestrian safety as their paramount duty, and maybe they should be trained to be better at it.
Well, I could certainly talk to them, but the way the agreement that I've got with Islington at present, which is in our construction management plan, is for us to have road signs in place directing pedestrians across to the other side of the pavement once we've got when we've got a delivery in. That's what our agreed process is with Islington. With regard to directing pedestrians across with our guys, I think that's something we would have to look into a bit further. I'd have to take up with my safety department and probably get Islington and the city involved.
Yeah, I mean, this was brought up, I think, last November, so it's nearly a year on, and it's not acceptable, and especially with the traffic now, the Beach Street Tunnel now being closed off. There's traffic going down there and turning and coming up. There's more traffic, so I really think you need to review that, and I'd like you to get back to us very quickly.
Okay, well, I'm sure Catherine will make a note of this. I mean, I have, and we'll look into this, and we'll get back to you once we've had a chance to look into it and
can you give us a date?
What you've said.
Can you give us a date for that?
I can't.
I raised it.
I can't, but I'm sure that Catherine and will be able to get back to you tomorrow with a date for our response.
Thank you.
I would like to think that we could come up with something within a couple of days, because it's not a hard question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simona.
But we need, as a team, we need to give you a coordinated response.
Yeah.
Thanks, both. I've also
okay.
put Sue to the panel as she's got a couple of queries. Sue, are you with us?
Yeah. Hi, thank you. My first query was about what is the procedure now? We had that, and I've lost track of time when we had the alarm going for an awful long time when the fire alarm went off by mistake. And you did say that, initially you had security man there, and then we were told that you had a new procedure and that we would be seeing the new procedure, but I don't think it's ever been disseminated, or if it has, I've missed it. So I wondered if you could just tell us, please, what the procedure is and what your response time is now guaranteed to be, so that we don't have an alarm going on for a long time. And also, if it does have to go on because of fire requirements or procedures requirements, do you have a procedure to actually inform residents? So shall I leave it at question one and then do question two in a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, are you able to advise on your procedure on site?
Yep, we've, following that incident, we've employed a security company that can give a response direct to site in 20 minutes. And they have got the codes to shut the alarm off and the expertise to do so. Does that answer your question, Sue?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you tested that? Have you tested them? Because I think your last one was supposed to have a pretty quick response and didn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, the last one was supposed to react between 25 and 35 minutes, and that failed. And we've now gone out and we've got a completely different company who assured us when we took them on that they could respond in 20 minutes, and we've tested it and they've been out and they have been able to do so. They've also got the expertise and the codes to switch the alarm off, and the know-how to to isolate the alarm panel.
Okay, thank you. My second question was about night lighting, and obviously you have to leave, well, you do leave lights on, which when it wasn't dark until 10 o'clock wasn't particularly a problem, except for going when you went to bed. But it's obvious that now the lights, and this because obviously I live in a dark corner, I find the lights quite obtrusive, and I wondered whether there is a possibility of dimming them in any way or turning more off.
We've turned as many of the lights off as we can, but what we've got is emergency fittings, and if we cut the power completely to the fittings, the battery packs within the emergency lights, you lose their charge in about 3 to 4 hours, and would have to be replaced. I mean, that is not practical, really. It's not practical to do that. Also, again, we need to leave a certain amount of lights on for health and safety reasons, in case we get a problem on site, or in case somebody needs to access site during or outside working hours. So that's where we are really with that at the moment.
Okay, so
just to come in on that one. Sorry, Sue. It's John McLeod again here. I think what we've tried to do is to shroud the windows to the building now, so that you get less light feedback from the building itself, to try and assist, and hopefully that is assisting with sort of light pollution.
Okay, I wondered whether are you actually going to be sheathing the whole building as well, like the Denison was, because then you'd have a double layer of shielding.
Yeah, when the scaffold is completed on all elevations, we will. Yeah.
So that, I mean, but are you saying that are you waiting until the whole of the tower block is done before you do the school, or are you going to do the school first and then the tower block when that gets to that stage?
No, the scaffold isn't at a level and where we can, to all elevations, where we can wrap it at the moment. So, it will be monoflex, but we're not at that point. So what we've done to assist is we've covered the windows with monoflex.
Yeah, well, that's really so that you can fit out inside, because that's called weatherproofing, isn't it?
It helps. Yeah. It helps with the weather as well, but it's it hopefully helps with the light spill as well. Yeah,
I mean, my problem is that I see the lights from the inside of the site, not on the outside, because I look into the sports hall. But I mean, but that's obviously that's just my issue, not everybody else's. So
yeah, I think what Steve says is correct. We need to get a balance where if we're turning all the lights off, runs down the emergency fittings, and that's not really good practice. We need to have a level of safety lighting around the site throughout the evening, so that if there is an issue, it can be investigated safely. It's part of it's part of the safe process, but we need to get it to a point where it's as minimal as possible, so it's causing as least disturbance as possible. We'll continue to review it. I thought the measures we put in place were hopefully helping with that, Sue.
Or maybe just me then, I'm sorry.
Just on the lights point, somebody's asked in the comments whether the lights could be put on PIRs.
Yes, PIRs.
We'd have the same problem with battery packs running down, though. That's the issue.
Yeah, I think what Steve. I think what. Let's say. I mean, at the moment, I think we've had them on timers as well, so that they time out at a certain period, and sometimes those timers they're a bit unpredictable at times. But as Steve says, you have to have a level of emergency lighting that stays on even with PIRs.
Okay, can I just have one more construction question, which is just, and it's another one, Steve, about lorries. The other day there were basically 2 lorries waiting in Golden Lane, which meant that actually it was really difficult even to cross the road. What do you do? I thought that lorries were not supposed to. You weren't supposed to queue up lorries. They were supposed to be.
It's never our meaning to queue up lorries, and everybody's given a delivery slot for their delivery. But invariably, as God made little green apples, we do get lorries and we do get drivers that turn up, especially with the London traffic, even like it is now. We still get deliveries turn up together, and we do turn away a lot of deliveries. So we do manage the situation.
Okay, thank you. And then my question was for Michael Gwither-Jones, and Michael, I wonder if you could confirm what the timetable is for the consultation that we had last month, because I know I probably heard it in the thing, but I would really like to know what the timetable is and what the process is, so that everybody's clear about that.
Okay, so you're talking about the consultation in relation to planning conditions and the section of the 6 issues. So all the Q&A is being consolidated into a document, and that is going to be finalised this week, I believe, Catherine, and then circulated next week.
Mm-hmm. So
there'll be feedback on all the consultation, Q&A effectively arising from that, distributed next week. That, of course, leads on to the submission of the documents, particularly the delivery and service plans, to discharge the planning conditions related to the DSP.
So do you send that straight out as soon as you've sent the copy to us? I mean, is that, and then it gets registered?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And then how long to planning, is there a time scale in planning?
Normally, I mean, I dare say Nadine can comment on this, but usually about 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Planning condition. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 weeks, and during that 8 weeks period, there will be an opportunity for members of the public to comment formally to both the City of London and Islington on the application.
Thank you. That's great. That was all I wanted. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Sue. We've had a couple more questions in the Q&A in regard to construction. So, Steve, I wondered if you could describe the acoustic barriers that you intend to install.
Is this temporary or permanently?
If you could describe both, that would be really useful.
There's acoustic screening around the plant rooms, and we are using acoustic blankets around the screed pump currently. You can probably see these on the site because they are actually blue in colour, and they are actually, I believe, they might be labelled acoustic blanketing. So that's basically the procedure we've adopted with that. I mean, I think they're quite effective, the ones around the screed pump, because I'm obviously quite close in my office, and they do cut out a lot of the noise.
Mm-hmm. Okie, thank you so much. We've had also another note about the lighting, saying that it is also visible on the higher floors. So we will, I will discuss with ISG, and we will have a look at that and come back to everyone in due course following this meeting. We haven't had any further questions submitted, so please do put your questions through and let us know. Oh, thank you very much, Tim. So the question is, will you notify everyone on the mailing list when the planning information is submitted to clear the conditions? Yes, we will. Everyone who is on our database will be notified, and we will also put the information up on our project website. The webinar and presentation from the planning conditions sessions that we held earlier last month are able to view, and as Michael noted, we're just finalising the Q&A, which we hope to send round to everyone as soon as possible. So, any more queries from anyone in the audience? If anybody does have any questions after this call, please do continue to email the info at email address, and we will come back to you as soon as possible. Also, our 0800 number is available on the website, and Steve's number is available for any on-site emergencies. Now we set up this online webinar session, we are keen to carry on doing these moving forward. If you do have any feedback about how the session has been run, or if you have any suggestions about how we can improve moving forward, please do let us know. We are keen to make sure that these sessions are suitable for everyone and everyone can engage as best as possible during these new times that we're living in. We just had another question through from Tim. So what are your final proposals for the boundary to the allotments?
Is that addressed to me?
If you can answer this, Steve, that would be great. Or maybe somebody from City would be best placed.
Well, what we're doing as a contractor is, I mean, along that wall, what we've done is we've reinforced that wall. There was some quite severe cracking, which went right the way through the boundary wall. We've now stitched that together with some heli bars and repaired that and stabilised it. But basically, that's it. We are leaving the wall exactly as it is, as you see it now.
We've just had another comment through about the wall, which notes that they were thinking of a chain link fence above. I don't know, Steve, if you've had any prior knowledge about that.
No, currently there's no proposal, as far as I know, for us to replace the chain link fence that is currently in position.
Okie dokie. Norman, is there anything from your side about that boundary that you can add from the city's perspective in terms of the long term?
No, nothing more than what Steve's added. I mean, I can go back and ask for further details on proposals, or if there's any proposals put forward, I can investigate.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the person that asked the question has just also noted that it's where the climbing plants are growing. So we can take that away and have a look at that and come back to you after this call. So thank you so much. So if we don't have any more questions, I think I'm going to draw the meeting to a close. Just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone for taking part and attending this evening. We really appreciate your time. This webinar will be uploaded to our project website, and we will also do a written Q&A with all the questions that have been outlined today and come back to those questions which we're going to seek a little bit more information on. And thank you so much, and have a lovely evening. The next meeting will be held in November. We will circulate the date in due course, but it will likely be the same Thursday, the third Thursday of the month, which we usually hold the meetings, and you'll get formal notification on that in due course. So thank you very much,
okay,
and have a good evening, everyone. Thanks to those on the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks,
everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.